at the moment, we see that at least there is a 5 kilometers traffic jam on the cars that links basically occupied Ukrainian territory with Russian mainland, because people are trying, apparently they're trying to leave the territory of Crimea. What does it mean? First of all, it actually decreases the morale of Russian soldiers who are based on the territory of the occupied, on the Ukrainian occupied territory occupied by Russian forces, in Kherson region, in the Zaporizhia region, and in Crimea. So it decreases the morale of the fighters. And the second reason, of course, it helps to reduce the ammunition supply for the Russian forces. That's basically two main reasons. As you probably see that Ukrainian counteroffensive is at the moment going quite slow. So the bigger point is that it decreases the morale
of the Russian side. We have so much to be grateful for. And speaking of which, let's go back to Ukraine. We just want to focus for a couple of minutes on that bridge connecting Crimea and Russia, which was attacked last night in an assault thought to be by Ukrainian forces. Let's talk to the Ukrainian journalist Kateryna Malofieieva, who is based in Donbas. Kateryna, the Ukrainian authorities haven't said they attacked the bridge, have they?
Yeah, actually, there was quite a controversial information throughout the day. So some of the authorities, they say that it's a totally internal problem of Russia. But actually, one service, one institution in Ukraine kind of gave a hint that it was done by this organization. It was Security Service of Ukraine. So they said that they cannot tell in details about the steps of the operation and of this operation, and it will be possible to disclose the details after the victory. But that's what we have so far. They just also reminded that they didn't violate any agreements. Basically, that Ukraine used. If it was conducted by the Ukraine, it was conducted within the traditions of waging a war. So basically, no violation of any international agreements.
Yeah, that is the Ukrainian perspective. Then, how does this help the Ukrainian counteroffensive?
That's a good question, because at the moment we see that at least there is a 5 kilometers traffic jam on the cars that links basically occupied Ukrainian territory with Russian mainland, because people are trying, apparently they're trying to leave the territory of Crimea. What does it mean? First of all, it actually decreases the morale of Russian soldiers who are based on the territory of the occupied, on the Ukrainian occupied territory occupied by Russian forces, in Kherson region, in the Zaporizhia region, and in Crimea. So it decreases the morale of the fighters. And the second reason, of course, it helps to reduce the ammunition supply for the Russian forces. That's basically two main reasons. As you probably see that Ukrainian counteroffensive is at the moment going quite slow. So the bigger point is that it decreases the morale
of the Russian side. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how will this impact on Russia's decision to pull out of the grain deal with Ukraine? I imagine that there are lots of people in the world who would dearly love that deal to be renegotiated, but it's not likely, is it, right now?
Well, Russian authorities claim that the pulling out of the grain deal was not linked to this incident on the Crimean bridge, but actually it was. We anticipated that it would happen before, after Turkey returned the Ukrainian commanders, top commanders, the defense of Azovstal, because it was against the agreements with Russia, because these top commanders, they were supposed to stay in Turkey until the end of the war. So it was actually expected that Russia would do something like that, and it's not connected to this situation, because Russia is claiming that they sort of proposed several steps that were not conducted, that were not implemented by United Nations and Turkey, because Ukraine doesn't have the direct agreement with Russia. Ukraine has agreements with UN and Turkey. Last year, yeah.
So, but sorry to interrupt you, Kateryna, but as it stands, Ukraine's grain will not be exported to the rest of the world for the foreseeable future.
Well, Erdogan said that he will speak to Putin. He said that this is the end of the grain deal, but he said that Putin is interested in renewal of the grain deal, and it might happen on the 5th of August, because they also benefit from it. So the negotiations will continue between them. Not between Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, okay, got you. Thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to date. That's the Ukrainian journalist Kateryna Malofieieva, who's in Donbas.